Hey everybody, this is going to be an article from Newsweek, and it completely tells you what their plan is with this second wave and with what I believe will be a second lockdown and more of our rights taken away. Wuhan reports first coronavirus case in a month as fresh outbreaks test model pandemic plans in South Korea and Germany. The Chinese city of Wuhan has seen its first new case of the novel coronavirus in more than a month, as China has also reported a spate of new infections in the northeast after moving to reopen from months of stringent lockdown. Meanwhile, Germany, which has also taken steps to ease lockdown restrictions, has seen its infection rate rise, and South Korea has seen a flare-up of new cases in Seoul, causing the mayor to shutter bars and nightclubs. See? This is programming. They're telling you, look, it's too early. We told you so. Now they're really going to push all this. And they're going to use this and they're going to say, sorry, you should have listened. We told you it was too soon to reopen. Now you're locked down for good. We don't know when we're going to let you come out. You better hope we find a vaccine. As several countries around the world have begun taking steps to ease coronavirus lockdown restrictions after seeing a significant decline in new infections and deaths, states and municipalities across the U.S. have also begun to reopen slowly. But health experts continue to warn of the risk of new outbreaks and a possible second wave of infections that could potentially once again overwhelm hospital and clinics. On Sunday, Chinese officials reported that the northeastern city of Shulan had 11 new confirmed cases of the novel virus after one woman in a family tested positive on May 7th. The city has now implemented restrictive measures including a ban on non-essential travel, closure of schools, and a lockdown of residential compounds. So here we go. This is 100% just starting over. It's not Wuhan, now it's Shulan. Starting over. They're already banning travel, they're already closing schools, they're already locking down people. Additionally, the first new confirmed case of the virus has been reported in Wuhan, where COVID-19 was initially discovered last year. In total, China confirmed 14 new cases of the coronavirus on Saturday, after more than a week of new daily cases remaining in the single digits. In Germany, new coronavirus infections have risen after the country eased some of its lockdown restrictions. The Robert Koch Institute, a German federal government agency and research institute, has said that the infection rate is now 1.1, which means each infected person now infects at least one other person. Essentially, if 10 people are infected with the novel coronavirus, the infection rate predicts that they would infect an additional 11 people. Fear. More fear. Germany's infection rate had previously been hovering around 0.7 in mid-April. At that time, Chancellor Angela Merkel warned that an infection rate of 1.1 could overwhelm the country's healthcare system within months. But the Chancellor announced last week that all shops in the country will be allowed to reopen and students will slowly begin returning to school. Football matches will also restart in the coming days. See? That's just over and over again. They're telling, this is what they're going to do, okay? They're going to say we did it too soon everywhere, and then they're going to do whatever. I can't even think of all the bad things they're going to do now because they're going to say it's so much more widespread. Now they're saying it's in our kids. And I just did a video on that about the kids, dying from this. It's just unbelievable where they're going with this right now. The European nation has also seen its number of new confirmed cases of the virus rise over the past 3 days. On Thursday, the number of new cases jumped from 947 on Wednesday to more than 1,200. New cases were above 1,200 on Friday and Saturday as well. In South Korea, which has been widely lauded for its quick and successful response to the coronavirus, moved to close bars and clubs in the capital of Seoul after a more than 24 new cases were connected directly to a 29-year-old man who had visited 5 different bars and clubs. He was pretty busy, wasn't he? Health officials have estimated that about 7,200 people visited the nightlife spots, warning of an expected surge in new cases. See? You catch that right there? That's how they're doing their contact tracing, right? That's how they're trying to explain it all to all of us, right? If you talk to her, you ran into somebody who ran into somebody who ran into somebody, and that fourth person had it, you've now been exposed. And they even put it in the numbers here. See, have estimated that about 7,200 people visited those places. So now those 7,200 are going to have to be tracked, traced, and then whoever that... I'm stopping because as you can tell, it's just insanity. It's crazy. Carelessness can lead to an explosion in infections, Seoul Mayor Park Won-soon said, announcing the indefinite closure of bars and nightclubs. Park also urged those who'd visited the nightlife spots to come forward voluntarily. You hear that? Yeah, you better come forward and let us know, because if not, we're coming for you. South Korea experienced its first confirmed case of the coronavirus at the same time as the U.S. at the end of January. But unlike the U.S., where the novel virus spread rapidly throughout the country, South Korea moved quickly to contain the spread through large-scale testing and contact tracing. See? They're saying, look, this is what worked. Large-scale testing and contact tracing. That's what works. Tracking your every move. Taking away every right you have. That's what works. As of Saturday, South Korea had just less than 11,000 confirmed cases of the novel virus and only 256 deaths. Comparatively, the U.S. has confirmed more than 1.35 million cases and nearly 80,000 deaths. Don't believe the number, we never will. The U.S. continues to average well over 2,000 new cases per day, with a recent high of 3,491 new cases reported last Thursday. While that's a decrease from a peak of more than 11,500 new cases in one day in mid-April, modeling suggests that the daily number could once again rise steadily as lockdown measures are eased throughout the country. Oh, your great models, right? All your modeling suggestions, just like you said, 1.7 million would die just in the United States, or then it was 300,000 and down, and now you're just manipulating the numbers to make it higher. So it's just ridiculous. President Donald Trump has pushed for the economy to begin reopening, even as health experts have raised concerns about the continued spread of the pandemic nationwide. While some hotspots like New York and California appear to have passed their peak of infections, other states and municipalities are just now seeing new outbreaks of the virus. Okay, another thing that I've noticed in the headlines nonstop is they've turned it into it's political now. It's Trump's fault, it's their fault, When they start doing that, obviously there's no real threat, right? I'm saying from this virus. If there was a real threat from the virus, everybody would be together. It's just how it is. If you truly think that your life and your family's lives and everyone you know's lives are at jeopardy, all your bickering and, choosing sides goes out the window. This shows that there's nothing to worry about. They're not worried about it. They're sitting here bickering back and forth, still doing everything for the election, trying to, make each side look worse. Yeah, it's because there is no threat. No true threat of a pandemic like this. We have to get our country open. We can't keep our country closed, the president said last week. Meanwhile, health experts and officials have cautioned that parts of the U.S. may need to once again implement lockdown measures in the coming months. At the end of April, Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and a key member of Trump's coronavirus task force, warned that if the lockdown measures were eased too quickly, that could get us right back in the same boat that we were a few weeks ago. It's just programming, more programming, telling you what's going to happen. Polling has shown that the majority of Americans are concerned that officials will begin reopening the economy too soon rather than too late. A poll conducted by the Pew Research Center from April 29th to May 5th showed that nearly 70% of Americans are concerned restrictions will be lifted too soon. No way. There's no way those numbers are right. It's just crazy. It's just nuts. More are worried that we're opening it up too fast. There's no chance. Not at this point. Maybe at the beginning, but not now. And 70% of the people polled, where'd you poll? Where did you take all these, polls from? Yeah. You don't ever tell us that. You could literally be testing and polling one city or one group of people. We don't know. But I hope everybody is still getting through this day to day, and just know that we're going to be all right. Things are going to get worse. They're definitely not pulling off of this. They're not backing down anytime soon, but you have nothing to fear. As long as you stay in your Bibles, stay praying daily, when you have Jesus, none of this even matters. Yes, we're always going to talk about it. Yes, we're always going to try to figure things out and, make our lives better while we are here. But in the end, we know what happens. He's the only truth and the only way. So please, if you haven't asked him into your heart yet, do it today. I promise you, you will never regret it. Thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.